my meetings, right? You guys are like way too casual for me, so I'm gonna get like a little naked over here. Is that okay?
Come on.
All right, look at this. I'm straight. Nothing wrong with that.
That's what they all say.
Chirper in the room, huh? All right, good afternoon. How are you guys?
Terrific.
All right, well, good to be here. I'm excited to talk to you guys. You guys have a good dinner?
Oh, yeah.
All right, awesome. So let's get into a little bit. From what I understand, I think I have. We don't have a time frame here. I think we can go for a good time, right? Let's go for maybe an hour, hour and a half, or so, whatever. Until what's that? Okay, a couple hours. We can do a couple hours. Then let's also let's already let me pre-frame what we're going to do here. Let's sort of take it in compartments. One, we're going to go over recruiting and you building a business. Is that a deal? So
very good.
The concept of recruiting and then you building a business, we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about all the rewards, all the benefits that come from you recruiting and building a business. We're going to talk about some fundamentals, and then we're going to finish up, maybe with a good 15, 20 minutes of a solid question and answer, so therefore I could really address any challenges, any concerns, products, company, what about when they say this, what do I say? So we're going to role play a lot of objection handling and just any clarification you have. By the way, there's no dumb questions. I'm here to help you. And with my 16 years now that I've been in WFG, hopefully I can say something to clear things up for you, so therefore you can get clear about what you need to do to move your business forward. Is that a deal? So can we do it that way? Yeah. Beautiful. I'm gonna lose my tie too. You guys don't
Come
mind?
on.
Yeah. I'm starting to take off more stuff.
Let's see the guns.
There we go. Okay.
What kind of party is this?
All right. It's a happening party. That's the case. All right. So topic number one: recruiting. Everybody in for that, by the way?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So that you know, we are in a recruiting business. And for that matter, every business is in a recruiting business. You may not understand that yet, but I'm going to make a case why every single organization out there that intends to be in business long term is in a recruiting business. So let's go there for a little bit, because I want your mind to comprehend the concept of growth. Recruiting means growth. If you don't recruit, you die. Y'all with me on that?
Yes.
All right, so let's put that to the test a little bit here. Let's talk about organizations out there. So let's talk about, I don't know, how many guys are believers in God? Okay, you believe it. So you belong to a Christian church, Mormon church, Catholic church, Jehovah's Witness, whatever, Christianity, whatever religion you are. Isn't your church always recruiting new members?
Yes.
Really? So your church is in a recruiting deal. You don't have a problem with that. I go to Catholic church. I was raised, born, practiced. I'm a Catholic. The day I die, I'm going to be a Catholic. And yet, our priests, and at the service, are always talking about, hey, bring the people that are not close to Christ and the people who aren't blessed spiritually, bring them so they can hear the soothing of our words, and therefore we can make you a better person. So if you're a Catholic church, if you're a Christian church, if you're Jehovah's Witness, if you're Mormons, if you're Christ of Scientology, or whatever they call it, they're recruiting. So all faiths are recruiting based. Clear?
Yes.
You guys with me on that?
Yes.
Okay, so let's look at that. Now, is there a force out there that protects our country?
Military.
What's it called?
Military.
The military. Question for you, smart people. Does the military recruit? Just every day. Every single day of the calendar year, the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the Marines are recruiting new soldiers. Why do they recruit new soldiers? Well, here's what happens. If you don't put in new soldiers into the force, there'll be some that just die with time. There'll be some that age and no longer practice it. And there'll be some that just withdraw and quit the military. And before you know it, here we have this massive force called the military. And if they don't put new blood to sustain it or at least grow it, they shrink, they shrink, they shrink, they shrink. At one point, we have no military. So if the military doesn't recruit, they die. Everybody with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay. World Financial Group, Transamerica. If we don't recruit, we will die. There will be no more clients to be served. There will be no more offices. We can't pay the leases. No one's here to fill up these chairs. So if we don't continuously recruit people, this doesn't work. Albertsons, Vons, Ralph's, all of them recruit. Chuck E. Cheese recruits. Right? Let's take it a little bit further. What's your last name? Everybody just put that in your name. What's your last name? If people with your last name don't continue to have a certain kind of activity and reproduce new babies, your last name will go to unforgotten, and then that last name will die. I got a grandfather named Nicolás Haro, had a dad, my dad is Jesus Haro, had Guillermo Haro, and now have Valentino Haro. If Valentino Haro at one point in his life doesn't create a certain kind of activity and reproduce another little Haro, our last name will die. That's called recruiting. So we recruit and 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 we recruit people to a happening. We are going to recruit you here to change your life. Guillermo Haro got recruited to a World Financial Group business, a Trans-America business, and I was taught that concept because no one is born a natural recruiter. When you went to high school, they don't teach you to recruit. Your family doesn't teach you to recruit. Churches a little bit, but most people sort of don't look at themselves as a recruiter. But in a business sense, if you recruit and you understand the science of it, and you put some effort behind it, and you do it systematic, and you do it plentiful, then the recruiting aspect of our business will make you wealthy. Are you interested in that word?
Yes.
Is there anybody here who doesn't want more money? Hello? Everybody wants more money?
Yes.
Now raise your hand if you do want more money. Okay? Typically, the higher you raise it, the faster it comes to you. All right, so here, no money? Oh, there we go. All right, everybody. I thought he was struggling.
Can I raise both?
Okay, there we go. So the mindset now says, I am a recruiter. I'm proud of it. I understand that that's my duty, and I must get good at this.
Duty.
And now let's talk about this for a second, right at the beginning. At the beginning, you're going to suck. Aren't you?
Yes.
Everybody who starts something a little bit different at the beginning, you're not very good at it. It's a little awkward. It's weird. It's sort of a behavior. It's some sort of skill that you see it, but you're not quite adapting your mind to it. It feels a little like you're subjecting yourself to rejection. Because recruiting, there is an element of rejection. If you're a Navy recruiter, every young man from high school that comes into your office doesn't necessarily sign up to be part of the Navy or the Marines or the Army or whoever you're talking about. There will be some who says, no, I think I want to go to medical school. I think I want to follow my mission at my church. So the recruiter for the military understands that he's got to enroll people to come meet with him. He explains to them the benefits. Some of them do, some of them don't, and you roll on, and we still have the most powerful military in the world. You guys are with me?
Yes.
So you've got to be mature enough. You got to understand that that's exactly how it's going to work. We enroll people. Let's talk about enrolling the people. We invite them to our meetings. They come, they check out our environment. You guys got a first-class office. I mean, I've been to a lot of WFG offices. Man, you guys kick butt with your West LA office. This office is top-notch.
Yeah.
I want you to know that if you belong to this office, it's a big deal. You represent one of the nicest, most well-put-together offices with committed leadership of all the entire company. Your office is first class. You go there and the stuff is new. You don't have all kinds of scuff marks, and you don't see coffee stains on the carpet, and you don't see raggedy furniture. You see a first-class quality professional operation. So you ought to be very proud to introduce your prospects to this office. Hey, come on over to the office. They walk in here, and this place smells like success. It looks legit. It looks like something good is getting ready to happen here. So you ought to be proud of that.
Yeah.
Now, the more people you have flow in here, however method you use. I don't care if you call someone on a resume. I don't care if you meet them at Ralph's. I don't care if you meet them at Chuck E. Cheese. I don't care if you meet them at school. I don't care if you meet them at DMV. I don't care if you meet them at Starbucks. I don't care if they're your neighbor or relative, friend, acquaintance, whoever they are. Your job is to say, hey, man, I want you to come check out what I'm doing. Come check it out. Come check it out. Whoever says, come check it out. Whoever says, come check it out the most and successfully brings people down here, enough of those people will see it. The vision will be caught, and now they enroll in our business, and your job is now to be an example and a leader of those people and continue to do it and do it and do it and do it. And before you know it, at one point in your life, it'll change. Let me just say this to you. You're 100 people away from being at a completely different level in your life than you can imagine right now. Yeah. You want to get to SMD? Let me give you a trick. Let me give you a little fact here. Ready? You want to write this down? I want you to take a sheet of paper like what you have right there in front of you. And I want you to put 10 lines to the point where you build a checkerboard of 100 squares. Y'all with me? You don't necessarily have to do it right now, but I want you to follow it. So let's suppose I have this big checkerboard, and I do 1, 2, so like I slice it up like a checkerboard. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 100 squares. The day that you fill up this this board with 100 names and code numbers, you're SMD and above.
Yeah.
That is a trick. It has been proven over and over again throughout this company. Whoever can fill up a sheet of paper with 100 names and code numbers, so 100 people that have come into your business, they've signed up, maybe some of them stuck, maybe some of them didn't, some of them got licensed, some of them didn't, doesn't matter. When you fill up this square of 100 names, you're an SMD or above. Try it. Matter of fact, fill it all up to see if you're not SMD or way above. Here's what you notice, right around 60, 70, boom, all of a sudden it pops. So you are numbers away from becoming an SMD. And let's talk about the importance of you being an SMD. Well, SMD stands for Senior Marketing Director. Senior Marketing Director is a prestigious position in our company. I know that sounds a little cliche, we say it in our meetings, but we want you to know that that is legit, that's exactly how it works. Let's talk about all the benefits that come with an SMD position. One, you're a broker. You're a bona fide broker in American business. You now have ownership of your business, so that means one day you can sell your business back to the highest bidder. You can do that if you choose to. I started 16 years ago. I have a code number like you have a code number. I don't know, what do you think my code number is worth now? At one point it was worth nothing. What's it worth today?
Wow.
Let's just put it this way. If they say, okay, dude, we'll give you $10 million for your code number, I wouldn't sell it. So I started just like you, went to my first meeting, filled out my paperwork, started my licensing, failed my test, took it again, kind of failed it again, goofed around with it, and then finally, I go to the testing center, and the lady, I'd been out there 3, 4, 5 times, and I go to the testing center, the lady would see me coming in and say, oh my God, you again? And I'm like, yes, it's me. It says, I'm determined to pass this friggin' test. I don't care how long it takes me. So on my second time, I passed my life license. On my third time, I passed my Series 63. On my fourth time, I passed my Series 6. And on my fifth time, I passed my Series 26. I know that's a lot of sixes for you. But I was determined to pass the friggin' test. And when I passed my test, the day I passed my test, I walked out of the testing center. I looked up to the heavens. I says, Lord, you have no idea what just happened. You just put an animal out on the street. I'm going to kill it. This thing is going to be awesome. And I kid you not, from that day forward, 60 months later, 60 months is 5 years. 60 months later, I'm making over $1 million a year. Wow. So I went from 0, no license, to 5 years later, almost like a car loan. 5 years. Okay? I have a car loan. 5 years later, I was paid that year $1,068,000. And here's my resume. High school, and then went to PCC, Pasadena City College, for summer school. And then I enrolled at East Los Angeles College in Monterey Park for about 3.5 months, played basketball there. And then just found out it's like I was in class, because you're supposed to have your academics in class and all that, and you couldn't play basketball unless you go to class, and I enrolled in all these classes. They put me in philosophy. You ever been in philosophy class? You're freaking crazy. If you're not crazy, they'll make you crazy. So I was in philosophy class, and I got this weirdo freaking professor supposedly teaching me, and then part of his lesson was like, is there a God? Is this for real? Is this a dream? Are we just floating through life? I'm like, what the hell, dude? I want you to teach me how to make money. And you're teaching me all this weirdo crap. I don't know about that stuff. And I can tell you, I was in class hungry. And I'm hungry, my stomach is hungry, I don't have any food. And I didn't have $5 to buy a sandwich at the cafeteria, little snack stand. Wow. So this guy's teaching me about, is there a God, is this a dream, blah, blah. He's teaching me that crap, and I'm hungry, and I don't have $5 on my way, and something's wrong here. So needless to say, I dropped out of school, went and got a job like everybody else, and worked and worked and worked. And eventually, one day, I got that phone call like you got a phone call from someone, says, hey dude, come check it out. I got a phone call from a guy named Jimmy Reyes. Jimmy Reyes was a guy that used to work at a collection agency. I was in real estate and mortgages back then. And Jimmy Reyes was like this collection manager. He worked at a company called PMS, ladies, no offense. Progressive Management Systems, just in case you know. So that's the name of it. So Progressive Management System was the name of the company. And so then I called up, I called up this company, Progressive Management Systems. I showed up on a credit report of one of my clients because I was doing real estate and mortgages. And if you understand the lending business, you cannot successfully complete a transaction until you clean up the credit. You guys are familiar, until the collection accounts are paid. So I called up the company, and I happened to talk to a guy named Jimmy Reyes. I went down and met with him. He was in Monterey Park. I was actually in El Monte at that time. So I met with them, and then 3 months later, I had to meet with them again because another client had another PMS. So I had to go down and see Jimmy once again. And then about 2 weeks after that second client, I picked up the phone at my office, my little mortgage office right there on Valley Boulevard in El Monte, across the street from the courthouse. So I'm there in my little office. I got my little files. My office was, I don't know, maybe the size of the stage. So here I am blowing and going. I'm a one-man band. 1 times 1 equals 1. So one guy closing one deal, getting one check, one time. That's it. So I was in that method, thinking I was going to be successful, thinking I was going to make money that way. And my phone rings, and I picked up the phone. And back then, my little message to pick up the phone was financial office. So I didn't even have a secretary. No, financial office. He said, Guillermo? I'm like, yeah. Hey, this is Jimmy down at the collection agency. What's up, man? We already paid you your money. What the hell are you calling me for? He says, no. He says, do you speak Spanish? I'm like, yeah. He's fluent? He's like, yeah. Do you? He says, no, doesn't matter. So then he said, hey, listen, I met you a little bit, and you're an impressive guy. Do you want to make it big in life? I'm like, well, yeah, of course. Who doesn't? He says, listen, there's this company. I want to share this company with you. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m., there's this meeting going on down there. Here's the address. Dress sharp. Go down there. I'm at work right now. I can't really talk to you anymore, but I'll see you tomorrow there at the meeting. It's going to be awesome. It's going to blow you away. So I'm writing down the address real quick, like, okay. And he rushed me off the phone. I couldn't call him back because back then he didn't have a cell phone. Neither did I. And then he was at work, so you know how you can't call people at work, so I couldn't do that. So then I just kept replaying that conversation over and over in my mind. And Tuesday night pops up, and I show up at 18780 Amar Road in Walnut, California, and that night I shook hands with Ed Milet. From that day forward, a couple years after that, I was licensed, and then a couple years after that, or 5 years after that, I was a multimillionaire, and this company changed my life forever.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you guys a couple things here. One, if you're in here right now, you have no idea what kind of opportunity you have that you shouldn't blow it.
Right.
If you haven't been really serious, let me recommend something to you, brother, sister. Get serious. Get committed to this. You will be arguably the wealthiest person in your family. I know some of you guys got, rich Uncle Bob who's a developer. I get it. But that's typical whatever. Oh, no, we got a, rich deal. By the way, I thought my uncle was rich too because he had a new pickup truck. Mexicans weren't. My uncle Cheo had a new pickup truck, and we were like so impressed by his new pickup truck because it was shiny and had big rims. So we're all fired up over that. But come to find out, I started making millions of dollars in this business. Now I'm the wealthiest guy in my entire family, bar none. My house is better than theirs. I have more money saved. I have no debt. My life is now under my control, and every single morning I wake up and the day is mine. I own my time. Versus everybody else, their boss owns their time.
Wow.
Traffic owns their time. The criteria at their job owns their time. They don't have total freedom. And the beauty of this business, if you get this recruiting business going, if you can build a team like this right here, I don't know if you have, 40, 50, 60 people here. If you can build a team like this right here pays several hundreds of thousands of dollars. You build a team of 50 people that are all licensed, that can go out there and serve the consumer, then you're looking at an income of 250, 400, 300, 800, whatever size market you have, but there's hundreds of thousands of dollars to be made by assembling a team of a few dozen people. Is it easy? Hello? No. Is it hard?
No.
No. Is it simple?
Yes.
That's what it is. So here's easy, and here's hard, and it's neither. It's actually pretty simple. But let me explain to you why it's simple. It's simple because it requires consistency. And let's talk about the word consistency. Everything that's successful has constant and consistent effort. If you're an athlete, if you're a politician, if you're a teacher, whoever you are, you must be committed to the act. You must be consistent with your efforts. And the word consistency is what all the winners have in common. You got to be a consistent performer. That means you show up. That means you pay the price. And consistent with your attitude. You can't have a piss poor attitude one day, and then you have a smile the next, and then back and forth. You got to be committed to a positive mental attitude all the time, to the point where it's a pleasure to see you and people like being around you. For some of us in the room here, including myself, at one point I had a sort of a challenge because my personality is a little bit too direct, too brash, or too eager. I just speak my mind too much. Well, you got to learn how to tone that down in order for you to serve the masses.
There you go.
And then I've grown to be, the whole emotional intelligence to the point where now you got to rise above just the way you see it for you. You just can't see it for you. You got to see it for the masses. You got to be able to encompass everybody in your business, so therefore you attract more people. We are in the volumes of people business.
Yeah.
The bigger your team, the bigger your income. You all with me on that?
Yeah.
The bigger your team, the bigger your income. And by the way, commit to now building a team and recruit and recruit and recruit. And now that we're on the recruiting phase, by the way, are we all in for recruiting, whatever?
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah.
If you had another 10 people on your team, do you think you would look at this business differently? Just picture right now, however many people you had. If you had another 10 that were showing up to meetings, that were licensed, that you were overriding, would you have a different view of recruiting?
Yes.
Would you?
Yes.
Talk to me like you mean it. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so then let's go there. Now, you could be a recruiter and you recruit people and somehow it still doesn't go the way you want it to. So let me help you with your mentality. There are people who recruit to recruit, but then there are people who recruit to build. Y'all with me there?
Yes.
Very similar activities, two different outcomes.
Yeah.
They're very similar activities, but they're two different outcomes. So you ought to be looking to recruit with the intention of building. What is the difference between a recruiter and a builder? So here's the deal. A recruiter just invites people down to the office, introduces the business, gets them a code number, and they think that that's it, that they've accomplished something. No, that's just the beginning. What you ought to do is the minute you recruit someone, so let's suppose, what's your name, brother?
Oscar.
So let's suppose I recruit Oscar. The first thing I need to do, Oscar, let me ask you a couple of questions. Are you married?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a best friend?
Yes.
Do you have a brother or sister that you trust, you have a pretty good relationship
Yes,
with?
I do.
Oscar, I want you and I to schedule some time to go see your spouse, to go see your brother or your sister, and to go see your best friend. You with me? Okay.
Yes.
So my job, by the way, that's what's called the hot market. There's a warm market, there's a cold market. Like calling people on a resume, that's cold. Because that's a stranger talking to a stranger. There's no relationship. They don't know you. You don't know them. There's no trust factor. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Eventually you learn how to do that. But initially, why would you pass up on the hot market to now attempt to get good at the cold market? Does that make any sense?
No.
So all of you here, when you recruit someone, you work with their hot market. There's a reason it's hot. Boiling water is different than an ice cube. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
So if you recruit in a cold market, it's cold. A lot of rejection, a lot of, I don't know you, I don't trust you, I've seen something online, all that comes up. But when you go talk to a spouse, your spouse better sort of be pretty open to anything you do, right? Like, hey honey, I'm doing something, they at least gotta listen. They at least gotta listen, right? What about a brother or sister?
Yeah.
Well, at least they've known you your whole life and there's some degree of credibility there. What about a good friend?
Yeah.
So your best friend, a brother or sister, and your spouse should be the first three people you go see. So my job, Oscar, would be to go and now tell the story of our company to your spouse, recruit your spouse for you, recruit your best friend, and recruit your brother or sister. And then I'll take your sister, now we're gonna go do her best three, and then take your best friend, go do their best three, and you just do 3 and 3 and 3 and 3, and let's just do the numbers. 3 times 3? 9. Times 3? 27. Times 3? 81. Times 3? 243. Times 3, 729. Times 3, 2143. So if we just do this 3 times 3 times 3 times, if you just keep doing that and teach your people how to do that, before you know it, several layers down, you got 2,000 people on your team. What would this business look like if you looked out in the audience one time? You go to downtown LA, convention center, and they got all this space, and says, okay, let's go have a meeting, and 2,000 people showed up. Because you got 3, that got 3, that got 3, that got 3, it just started growing and growing and growing and growing. What if that could happen? So this business is so simple, but we overcomplicate it, we overthink it. We think we need to know everything about the products. Let me recommend this to you. Having product knowledge is healthy, it's good, it's necessary. Let me also recommend something to you. Don't overdose on that, and then somehow don't get the recruiting down. There's a combination. It's like when you're riding a bike. Here's products and recruiting, products and recruiting, products and recruiting. If you have both spinning, you're riding a bike, left, right, then you get to places. But you got to get your products down, you also got to get recruiting down. Why do you recruit? So therefore you grow. And then why do you have products? Well, at least so that you don't look like an idiot in front of your clients. Guys are with me on that?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's so important to look at that. By the way, did you just catch on to something right
Oh,
now?
yeah.
All you need is 3 at the beginning. Now, do you expand your market after that? JR wasn't one of my 3. But remember, I always have my recruiting antennas on. I'm always looking to grow. I'm always looking to expand. Just almost everywhere we go, I'm looking for people. Just right before we came here, I did another meeting. Before that, we had about half an hour to burn, and I had my driver take me over to a Mercedes-Benz dealership. And I get to the dealership, the Mercedes-Benz dealership, and I'm looking around, okay, who am I going to recruit? Whose life am I going to change? And by the way, people that go to Mercedes dealership, they aren't broke, are they?
Right.
If you're broke, you don't go to Mercedes dealership. You go to like Hyundai or something. No offense to anyone. No offense. Sorry. So you say, hey, I have a Sonata. Don't offend. No, I'm with you. So anyway, you guys get the idea. So I'm always looking to recruit, always getting names and numbers. Once you're really good at getting the three people of the hot market, you can now get into the prospecting, because eventually you're going to need to really master the prospecting. To me, now prospecting is fun. It's easy because I've done it so many times, and I understand. Here's another thing is, and it's going to sound a little controversial. So Oscar, so I recruited Oscar, and I got how many for him?
3.
Okay, so here's also you understand. You're not going to get rich from the people you already know.
Yeah.
You're not. But that's warm up. Eventually, the 3 that comes behind him, and the 3 that comes behind them, and those 3 behind them, from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th layer of people, that's where your wealth comes from. So when you recruit someone, your job is to immediately put someone underneath them. So if you recruit A, and then you help A get B, and then you help B get C, and then you help C get D, that's called a leg. So a leg is not a leg until it's 4 deep. So put that in your notes right now. A leg is not a leg until it's 4 deep. So your goal is to recruit someone, and then recruit someone underneath them, underneath them, underneath them, underneath them. And if you do that over and over again, if you build legs of 4 deep, every time you build a leg of 4 deep, that assures you that 1 out of those 4 people will be an SMD, and your job is to build an SMD factory. Your
Yeah.
job is to produce a widget, to produce a human being like JR that's an SMD, that can run his own deal, that can pay his own rent, that trains his own people, and then from everything JR does, for example, JR is one of my guys, so from everything JR does, the company pays me 17% every month or whatever he does for the rest of my life. Wow. And by the way, JR is young.
Yeah.
How about that? A lot of shelf life.
Your retirement.
You don't follow? Yeah. So you look at that. We are in the business of building SMDs. How do you get an SMD? Take a leg 4 deep. So if I recruit Oscar, what's your name, hon? Michelle. So Oscar, and then Michelle's the best friend. And what's your name? Aaron.
Mark.
And Mark. So here's a leg. 1, 2, 3, 4. So one of these 4 people right here, statistically speaking, one of them is going to be qualified to be an SMD. Are y'all with me? Yeah. Your job is to build SMD after SMD after SMD. How do you build an SMD? Recruit a guy, and boom, 4 deep. Recruit a guy 4 deep. Every time you get 4 deep, 4 deep, 4 deep, 4 deep, every time you do that, there's a high probability, statistically speaking, that you will produce an SMD, an SMD, an SMD, an SMD, and your job is now to produce SMDs. So a guy with a series of SMDs becomes wealthy, becomes highly influential, enters the world called leadership. Put this in your notes. Leadership is the highest paid position in life, isn't it?
Yes.
Leadership is the highest paid position in life. Nothing else pays more money than leadership. Not being an attorney, not a high price surgeon, not a paralegal, not the 7-Eleven owner. Nothing pays more money than leadership. People under an organizational function like ours is the highest paid position in life. And by the way, leadership is fun, and it can quickly be transferred to someone else, provided you're setting up a pretty good example. Y'all with me so far on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you build an SMD?
Go 4 deep.
Okay, you recruit someone and take them 4 deep. If you commit to that, Oscar, if you do that for the next 3, 4, 5 years, then you'll be a wealthy man. You'll shock yourself. And people have shocked you, but you rarely shock yourself. Well, this business will shock you. It's like, wait, it's like, it's more than I thought. It's freaking awesome to get paid more money than you thought was coming. It's just, it's incredible. It's a hell of a feeling. So anyway, so before I enter the next phase of that, let's debrief on that for a little bit. What did you learn on that? Any questions that you have on the topic we just said? Yes, sir. What's your name, brother?
I'm Sam.
Sam. There we go.
So
You
can
wanna
you help me
stand?
understand?
You wanna stand when
Yes,
you
I
speak,
would
so
love to stand.
Everybody knows that you're
Hey,
talking.
how are you all doing tonight? So my name is
I
Sam
like it.
Gilbert. I've just signed up. I'm taking my license on Thursday. But I'd like to
Awesome.
know, you say a leg is the way to go. Can you help me understand why not just signing up 4 people on your direct line is as profitable or an effective a strategy? I believe you. I'm just kind of curious. I need to understand the numbers.
No, we'll stay right there. Just
All right.
Continue to stay. So what you just said is, because I want everybody to understand.
Yeah.
Let me recommend that all of you guys listen closely to everybody's questions, so therefore you learn from them. Always put your mind and absorb. Come to these meetings and walk out of here better, smarter, more informed, ready to attack more. You guys all with me on that?
Yes.
Don't let this stuff pass you by and it goes, or you're distracted, or you're on your phone and you don't pay attention to this, because this is really good stuff. Good stuff at meetings are called nuggets. Don't
Yeah.
ever miss them. Nuggets made me who I am. Not chicken nuggets, by the way, just nuggets. One little disclaimer there. All right, so Sam, right?
Yeah.
Your question initially is how, what again?
Why is a leg,
Mhm.
the strategy of building a leg, more profitable, more effective than recruiting 4 people just underneath you? How
Or
does the
people
number-
direct to you?
Right.
Okay,
right.
that's a pretty good question.
Yeah.
So, this is Guillermo Haro. I want to be wealthy. You want to be wealthy, Sam?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so if you want to be wealthy, you got to follow a proven method, a proven
That's why
track
I'm
record,
here.
right? So let's put, just so that you're out of your concern, okay? So let's suppose I recruit Oscar direct to me. Young lady, what's your name? Malia, direct to me.
Yeah.
Andrea, direct to me.
Edwin.
Edwin, direct to me. So here's my 4 direct to me. By the way, that makes me look pretty good, right? I'm 4 wide. How many people underneath Oscar?
0.
9.
Right.
How many people underneath Malia? Andrea and Edwin, right? Did I say Edwin? Okay.
0.
How many people underneath them?
Nothing. Nobody.
Is there anything to lose if Malia decides to quit the business?
Yeah, I mean, you lose a 25%.
No, for her.
Oh, no.
No. Okay, now watch this. So what if I did do that, I recruited these 4 wide, but then you also have to instill what's called fear of loss.
Mhm.
So watch this. So let's suppose I stick with my theory instead of me necessarily going wide. By the way, I do want to go wide, but I want to make sure that I don't ignore
Wide and
going
deep.
Go
Right.
with me?
Yeah.
So you go wide and you go deep. Both of them are very good, but there's some magic to going deep pretty quick. So let's talk about that. So I recruited Oscar. I recruited this young lady, the next young lady. So I got my direct line right here for, right? And let's suppose Oscar starts to get a little weird on me. He doesn't show up to the meeting. I text him, he doesn't text me back. I call him, he doesn't call me back. Once in a while, he shows up to the meeting. He's like, well, I don't know, just. So come on up, Oscar. By the way, I promise not to embarrass you too much. So here's Oscar, and then Oscar has a team of 3 people. And by the way, let's suppose the young lady right there with the sriracha shirt. Let's suppose she's freaking awesome. She got a big market. She's fired up. I says, Oscar, you know how you've been getting kind of funny on me, and you sort of don't come to meetings, and if you quit this business, you understand what's going to happen, right? So you'll enter your life right back where you came from. You'll go right back to your job, making a 9 to 5. Remember the reasons you wanted to leave that is this business, but you decided now you want to go back over there. So you'll go re-enter your life over there. So that means you'll be out of the business, and you see those people that I help you build, the lady right here and the next lady and the young man right there. All of those people roll up to Big Daddy. So that means 2 years from now, I'm gonna take that team and I'm gonna blow it up. The one with the sriracha shirt, she's gonna be freaking awesome. She's gonna recruit half of Asia. And I'm gonna override all those people. But guess what? You won't be able to override because you're out of the business. You're purged out of our system. So you'll be back at Home Depot, and I'm overriding half of Asia. It's called fear of loss. So I told him, hey, dude, don't get too funny. Hang in there. Stick to it.
It took me a second.
It's
I
called
get it now.
fear of loss.
I get it.
So, is it in his best interest to stick around to lock him in?
Oh, yeah.
So you lock people into the business by putting a leg underneath them.
Nice.
Now he has something to lose.
I get it.
Now on this side right here, I recruit Malia, and then she has no one. So she quits. She just quits, and that was so essentially the time I spent with her kind of went to waste. It went to waste because she did nothing, and then she used up my time, and she quit, and then I just got left with an empty bag. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Now, should you stop at 4? Should you stop at 4?
I'm gonna say no.
No, of course not. So, wait a minute. So it's 4 here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. But now let's go here. Your name's Michelle?
Michelle.
Michelle. So it's Michelle. So do I have her 4?
Not yet.
No. Well, then let me get this guy. So that's,
Oh, wait a second.
there it goes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4.
Now
So
you're
for
going this
Michelle.
direction.
No. That's just,
Still
you
going
keep
deep.
going down that same leg.
Ah.
You see? You see? So that's 1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4.
jeez.
There's 4.
Yeah.
But does she have 4?
No.
No, not yet. So
Not
then
yet.
I got to keep working. That means I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4. So now she has 4.
Wow.
And you keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. And then 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, 81, 243, 729, 2143.
Wow.
It's simple. But here's the problem. We got too many smart people in this world. It's so freaking simple, but then, you know, we got a master's degree. And we want to put that into the mix. And we screw up something really simple. Take us a quick story. I live in a community up in northeast San Gabriel Valley, a city called Glendora. Some of you guys have been to my house. And in my house, it's a pretty high-end community there. One of my neighbors is the heiress, the sole heiress of In-N-Out Burger. You ever heard of In-N-Out Burger? Are those doing pretty good? Have you ever been to an In-N-Out Burger that's not busy?
No.
They always have a line.
Yes.
Matter of fact, In-N-Out Burger is beating the crap out of Carl's Jr. and Burger King and Rally's combined.
Wow.
They're just smoking. They're just smashing them. Matter of fact, you see a Carl's Jr. on this side of the street and an In-N-Out right here, and they may be lucky if they have 2 or 3 people inside the restaurant, nobody in the drive-thru. This place is loaded all the way around. I think you've seen them. So, I'm a person that's very intrigued by simplicity. Sam, you with me?
Yes.
Simplicity.
I like it.
I love simplicity. I don't do well with complications, with complicated matters. I don't do well with technicalities. I'm a very simple kind of person. So, in that neighborhood, we started to kind of know each other a little bit, and then Lindsay's her name. Lindsay is my neighbor, so then she's married back then to a guy named Richard Martinez, which turned out to be one of my really good friends too. And Richard Martinez, one day before I really knew who he was running around. He was this, tell you a quick story, he's this guy from the hood who went and got a job at In-N-Out Burger, and then he kind of met her, and they started kind of flirting a little bit, and all of a sudden he marries into this freaking fortune called In-N-Out Burger. You talk about somebody freaking hitting the jackpot. That little flirting can go a long way. Right? So Richard Martinez, raised in Baldwin Park, little hoodster guy from you know, one of the little breakdancing guys, and Tagger, and you know, all those, that kind of guy. So he got a job. So he gets a job at In-N-Out Burger, meets Lindsay there, because, you know, the family, the fortune was growing, and they ended up getting married, they have 2 kids. He's balling out of control. I mean, they got money to spit out of their ears, right? So, so that Richard was up in my neighborhood, and Richard is Richard, so he put on his little, you know, his little hoodie, and he's sort of like an athletic boxer guy, so we got this guy in a hoodie that I've never seen before in my neighborhood running around. And me and my wife drive up right here, it's like, who the hell is that? It's like, it looked like he just robbed a liquor store, right? So I pulled into my driveway, and here's this guy kind of running with a hoodie, and he's running around, and I stop around here, it's like, hey, do you live here? He says, why do you ask? Well, one, you got a hoodie, you look like a hoodster, and this is a gated community, it's private, and I've never seen you before, so I think my question is valid. What do you think? He says, well, yeah, I actually live down there. I says, where? He says, that house right there. And I'm like, what house? He said, that one right there. The freaking In-N-Out house. Everybody knows that. He said, he lives at the In-N-Out house. Like, do they know you live there? He said, yeah, Lindsay's my wife. Oh, good to meet you. How are you? I'm thinking, hey, married homeowners' kids. So I get to meet this guy all of a sudden, and we start talking and all that, and then he says, hey, well, let's get together and dinner. You know, obviously you're taught to build relationships. You always up your associations. You meet people who are bigger, stronger, richer, more out there than you, and you build relationships with these people. So here I am now building a relationship with Richard. He's married to Lindsay. They got this In-N-Out fortune. They got like, I don't know, 300 stores across the West, and then they got 200. They got plans for 200 more in Texas. I mean, It's a billionaire company. Matter of fact, she's one of the secret billionaires in America. I don't know if you guys ever saw the report. I think Warren Buffett attempted to buy her company, and she told him to go back to Omaha. So bottom line, I built a relationship with Richard. We became good friends. Well, Richard and Lindsay divorced. By the way, that's her third divorce. So obviously she's a little confused. In the process, though, I got to meet him a little bit. I got to know them. We hung out. Remember I took you to Eden Garden? We went to Eden Garden. So we went to Eden Garden, a little Mediterranean place. We're there. And so I said, Lindsay, can I ask you I'm really curious. Can I ask you like a business question? She says, oh, sure. She's actually really nice. I says, your family guy that started In-N-Out Burger like in 1940s, and then the family, one guy died and left it to the next one, and then the uncle, and then he died in a plane crash and left it to someone else, and eventually the whole fortune came down to Lindsay. Why is it that In-N-Out Burger is just so effective, so successful? And she says, well, that's a good question. She says, matter of fact, people ask us that all the time. She said, have you ever been to one of our stores? I'm like, of course, who hasn't? Of course I've been to your In-N-Out. She says, have you looked at the menu? I'm like, yeah, what do you remember? 1, 2, 3? She says, yep. That's all we sell. We sell number 1, a number 2, and number 3. Guess what we don't sell? We don't sell McRib. We don't sell enchiritos. We don't sell chalupas. We don't sell churros. We don't get mixed up with all that other stuff. We keep it simple. When you come to our store, you're going to buy a burger, french fries, and a drink. A burger, french fries, and a drink. And we're going to teach our people how to make that burger systematically the same way every single time. So every double you ever purchase at In-N-Out Burger will be wrapped the same, will be put together the same, will be assembled the same way. The bun, the lettuce, the meat, all that will be strategically in its place every single time. They thrive on simplicity and consistency. And for that matter, they kick everybody's ass.
Yeah.
You ever been to Farmer Boys? Yeah. And you look at their menu, it's like, you got to read the Bible. It's like, oh my God, it's like 99 items, and before I don't even know what to order. There's just so much crap. You get In-N-Out, they make it really simple. Welcome to In-N-Out. Can I take your order, please? I have a number 1, raw onion, grilled onion, whatever. Boom. Get out the way, next. Get out the way, next. Get out the way. So the cash register and the credit card machine is just rolling all the way around. There's always traffic in the window, the drive-through, and they just got bags going on, and they're slapping 20, 30 patties on the grill, and they got a machine.
Yeah.
I really thought about this, like, man, what if WFG could be an In-N-Out like model? What if we recruited people, they come to the meeting, they do their interview, they do their one-on-ones, whatever system you run here, run it, and then you just keep doing that over and over and over again, and yes, not everybody sticks. One thing In-N-Out understands, not everybody's gonna come and order a double-double. Sometimes they want it a little bit different, they're willing to modify your order to your liking a little bit, but they're not gonna go out of their way and do something weird. Hey, can you put a tamale in my double-double? No, can't do that. Can you put chili? No, can't really. So, there's certain things that they won't do, but then there's certain accommodations that they will. And that's the same thing with our business. If you can get a simple model that can be replicated over and over and over and over and over again, over the course of a few short years through the concept of numbers multiplying, then you end up pretty wealthy. Do you all follow that?
Yeah.
So you got to keep it simple. So it's recruiting and selling your products. Recruiting and selling over and over again. Take a leg 4 deep, take a leg 4 deep, take a leg 4 deep. Keep doing it, keep doing it. Stay focused. Stay effectively focused. Most people cannot stay effectively focused because distractions get you, family functions, all that. We get it. We're human beings. We all go through that. But whoever can stay effectively focused for the longest period of time with the most amount of people ultimately comes out on the other end a multi-millionaire. When I got started in this company, there were 3 or 4 people that had become millionaires. Today there's close to 60. So there's 60 people now in WFG who are making $1 million a year or more. By the way, we're just getting started. A lot of your family members, most of your friends, most of your neighbors, they don't even know we exist.
Yeah.
Most people don't know we exist. You think the 4 or 5 is right here? You think if you took a poll, it says you have to pass right here and answer a couple of questions before you can move. Have you ever heard of World Financial Group Transamerica? Yes or no? Do you own life insurance? Yes or no? And are you interested in making more money? Yes or no? Okay, next. If you took a poll, do you think most people heard of WFG?
No.
Transamerica?
No.
No? Do most people have their financial picture the way they need it to be?
No.
Are most people up for making more money?
Yes.
So then that's your job. One, you've never heard of us. You don't have your financial situation the way you need it to be. And you are interested in making more money. We solve two problems. You solve two problems. One, the problem is that people feel that there's no more opportunities in America. We offer hope and opportunity. The two things we offer are hope and opportunity. We don't offer any guarantees, and we're not necessarily going to promise you anything. There's hope and opportunity. America was founded on the fact that people come here for opportunity, and there's always hope. Things can always get better, and we have an awesome country. People flock to this country from all places of the earth. So we offer hope and opportunity, only to find out most people feel that they don't have any hope, and they almost feel that opportunities are not out there, or it's not for them. Because most opportunities, John, can require tons of capital to get started. You're going to start your own little tech company or startup company or some startup company, you need tons of money. Well, in WFG, let's just be real. You need $100 for your AMA, and you need $200 for your licensing, just a life accident and health, and you're ready to roll. And if you can get your securities license down the road, then more power to you. But that's all you need. You need a few $100s, Sam, of your investment capital, brother, and you can take your income as high as you choose. So let me tell you my choice. My goal is I want to make $1 million a month.
Yeah, man.
Already 4 guys are doing it, and I look at those guys and I'm like, dang, crap, they can do that. I can't. You see a Vietnamese guy named Swan Nguyen, no disrespect. If that jokester can do $1 million a month, this tall Mexican handsome dude, well, I'm for sure gonna be able to do that. There's no doubt about that. One, I'm gonna put in the time. I'm gonna put in the effort. I'm gonna continue to do my thing and continue to go wide and continue to go deep and wide and deep and wide and deep and do it and do it and do it and stay effectively focused. And in the process, I'm gonna have a blast.
Yeah, man.
In the process, enjoy it. In the process, fall in love with it. In the process, love people and tell them that you want the same for them. Your job here is to improve other people's lives. It feels awesome to say, because I got into this business, and then I was pretty good at it, and then I happened to walk into JR's mom and dad's house at one time to do some follow-up work with them, and here's JR there in the kitchen, kind of eavesdropping on the conversation, and eventually, that's what he was doing. He was kind of, you know. And I says, I told his dad's name is Rafael, he wants you to say it that way, and Joanne, so I said, hey, tell your son, tell JR, that's his name, right? Yeah, tell him to come over here, maybe we could talk. So he came over there, and before you know it, this friendship was forged. I invited him to the meeting, and JR will tell you that he sort of forfeited going to a wedding where you were supposed to be a best man. Oh, graduation. I'm sorry, the wedding would have been tough. So he was getting ready to go to a graduation. I says, hey man, if you're serious about this, you got to come tomorrow, else you're going to miss it. And his dad and JR came to my office, saw the presentation, and that day we got going, and look what's happened. JR and Michelle's destiny for the next year and year and year of their life, they're only going to grow their fortune. And think about it, with a few $100s, you get to continuously grow your fortune. I'm not aware of any company where you can start with a few $100. Let's call it $300 or $400, and then years go by, and then your fortune just amasses and gets bigger and gets bigger and gets bigger and has no limits. I'm not aware of a company that you can do that. And then you own it. It's yours. One day you said, okay, I'm done. I sell it. My code number is 893BV. What would my code number go for now? It'd be millions and millions of dollars if I choose to sell it. That's a pretty cool situation. I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, who would buy it?
Somebody that sees the value.
Is it in the organization?
Sure.
Typically happens like that?
Typically, typically someone has that kind of money, and someone who has a job doesn't, so it wouldn't be them.
Right.
It's pretty safe to say, hey, I'm a manager at Jack in the Box, can I buy your phone number? That probably wouldn't be the case. So it'd be someone who's fully informed of it, someone who understands our model, someone who can, continue to receive the benefits accumulated in it already. So that's what would happen. So yeah, that's how that would work. So anyway, that was a long explanation for your question about four wide.
Yeah.
My answers are lengthy, right? Since we do have 2 hours here, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys learned something from that, by the way?
Yeah.
So let's take on everything I've said so far. Let's take some question and answer. Let's get you up to speed a little bit more, and then we'll move on to the next topic. And by the way, not everybody at once. Let's make this. I don't want to talk at you. I want to speak with you. So let's see if we can collaborate. Any questions you have so far on what we touched? What did you learn? That's a different question. Yes, sir. Go ahead. You want to stand up, brother?
I learned why internet is so successful now. I was asking that same question, so I learned that. Great nuggets. I got nuggets out of that.
Okay, good. How long have you been in business with us?
Coming up on a year now.
Is that okay? Who recruited you?
Mariano Fragmento.
Okay, good man. And are you down in San Diego too?
Yes, sir.
Beautiful. All right, glad to have you, man. Hey, go build a team, man.
Oh,
You can blow up a team.
Absolutely.
By the way, that whole San Diego area is wide for the
I
taking.
know.
Like everybody in San Diego needs to know about this, and almost nobody. I'm thinking San Diego is like the biggest virgin in the United States right now. I really want to say that to you in a very constructive way. So that's awesome. So you make sure you tap it, okay? You guys are. Jack King, you're finally blushing. Huh? All right. So go wide and go deep. That makes sense to me. All right, so what else we got? What other, based on what we've, yes ma'am. Go ahead. What's your name, hon?
Maureen.
Maureen, go ahead, stand when you speak. Go ahead.
Leadership is the highest paid position in life.
Okay, how you feel about that?
I believe it.
Have you ever heard of that before?
No, it was my first time putting in these words.
All right, so now let me teach you, let's go forward with that. Since leadership is the highest paid position in life, make sure you become a leader. One worthy of people following.
Very good.
Follow?
Yes.
You become a leader. How do you become a leader? That means you got to be working on yourself. You got to up your value. Leadership means you're here and then you grew and you set the right example. In WFG, leadership is you show up to the meetings. You show up on time. You show up early. You're the hardest worker. You set the right example. You have a great attitude. You continuously work on your personal development, your language, your appearance, the way you see things. Do you have a small vision or a big vision? If I'm on your team, do you inspire me or do you just like, Y'all with me? It's so important that you start to see yourself as a leader. By the way, read books on leadership. I saw a book on JR's desk today. You have a new one, right? You saw that, right? What's the name of it?
Leading by Alex Ferguson.
Okay, you want to say that? You guys want to write that down? The book, the name of it is called Leading by Alex Ferguson.
He's the winningest soccer coach in the history of soccer.
Okay, how about that? So even if you're not a soccer fan, I'm sure he'll touch on some things there that would be important. So Leading by Alex Ferguson, the winningest soccer coach ever in the history, was it Europe or ever?
England. World.
In the world. Okay. So that'd be a good thing to do. So there's another guy named John Maxwell.
Yeah.
And John Maxwell has written book after book after book about the principles of leadership. And John Maxwell is a great storyteller. He talks about all the people in society, in politics, in sports, in business, in the spiritual world, all the people who are big on leadership and why you need to see yourself as a leader. Let me just tell you one thing. A lot of us are taught how to be a follower, and then when you separate yourself from the follower to becoming a leader, it's a completely different mindset. It's like you're free from bondage. I really mean that. By the way, thank you for addressing that. All right, let's go. What else did you learn? Anybody? Yes, sir.
The G. 2 questions.
Okay.
What's the...
This is kind of weird, huh?
Well, I want to make sure I got you, so I'm looking at the camera.
Okay. I'm
What's,
looking at you.
what's the number one thing that you did that assisted you to achieve the success that you've achieved, and what's the number one thing that you would have changed in your business that you may not have done, but you looking back you would have done to be successful? So
Is that one question?
2-part.
That's
2-1.
All right, give me the first one first.
First one, what did you do that made you successful? And then what
What did I, no, hang on.
Okay.
So what did I do to make me successful? All the things I just told you to do.
Okay.
Okay? Should we review? 1, showed up to every meeting. I just got to tell you, I was a stickler, committed with everything inside me to get to every single meeting. Why? Well, I set the right example. So if I recruit Oscar, and then I say, okay, Oscar, you got to go to the meeting, and then I don't show up to the meeting, but then Oscar goes, and the minute he gets there, who's the first person he's looking for?
You.
He's looking for me, but I'm not there. But then I sort of sold him a bag of goods because I told him it was really good, but somehow it's not good for me to show up. So that's a little tough to swallow. You with me?
Very
So,
nice.
showing up to meetings was critical. 2, for about, for about 3 years, I've said this over and over again, for about 3 years, at every single BPM, I had 1 to 2 to 3 guests. I just made a personal commitment to myself that every Tuesday and every Saturday, I had 1 to 2 to 3 guests at every single BPM, and I was just killing it to make sure I forced myself. So here it is, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, I was calling people, I was prospecting people, I was urging people to get to the meetings on Saturday morning, and then once Saturday morning's meeting was done, Saturday afternoon, Sunday and Monday, calling them, urging them to get to Tuesday night. And I did that for about 3 years. I didn't necessarily always have a guest, but most of the time I had a guest. And those 3 years of constant effort of driving people to the meetings, it blew up my business. During that time span, there's a guy named Jesse Gutierrez that came into my business, J.R. Mejia came into my business, Nick Lancaster came into my business, Anthony McGowan came into my business, Mike Betancourt came into my business, and the list goes on and on and on. And it's just, to this day, those people exploded my business.
Very
So
good.
answer number 1.
Okay, question number 2. What would you, looking back, what do you wish you would have did?
You have an hour?
Well, you got to condense it.
Let's just go there. That's so true. What would I have done different? 1, I would have gotten an alignment sooner.
What do you mean by alignment?
I would have gotten an alignment. I would have followed exactly what my leader said to do without any guff or feedback right from the get-go. Like, based on what I know now, if JR is my leader and he said, gee, you got to do it this way, I wouldn't have had any suggestions against that. I would have just followed in his recommendation. I would have followed his recommendation. I would have fell in alignment with him like this, because I know the guy had my best interest in mind. I would have got my licenses sooner. I screwed around with, kind of not getting my license sooner. I was a little distracted. I'd be studying, and my mind would wander off. Okay, what am I going to do tonight? I'm going to go to the gym and pick up my clothes from the cleaner. I got to wash my car. I got to go do this. I got to call this girl. So, forms of distraction. You with me?
Yeah.
So I didn't pass and get my licenses as soon as I had. I probably lost almost 1.5 years, maybe 2, by delaying sort of taking a test and really committing to studying the material to finally pass that freaking test. So definitely would have done that. I'd have recruited more people earlier. I would have got my JRs of the world earlier, not later. So my first 6 months, I would have shoved more good people into those meetings, so therefore those people would have been with me longer. I would have been overriding them longer. I would have had a bigger team sooner. I would have got to $1 million sooner. I would have worked on myself more. I would have read more books, listened to more tapes, committed to developing my mind and my intentions to go big faster. I would have done all those things. And the list goes on and on. I would have got leaner. I'm in pretty good physical shape. I would have got leaner. I wouldn't have eaten In-N-Out or cheeseburgers that much and tamales. And if you're Mexican, it really screws with you. You see what I'm saying? So all those things, it's taken me a while for my life to be as disciplined as it is today. I run a pretty disciplined life, and that's not perfect. But I would have got to this point sooner, and I think I would have enjoyed it. I would have enjoyed it longer.
So basically, in a nutshell, quicker discipline, quicker obedience to your leaders,
Yes.
or
Alignment.
alignment.
Correct.
Very good.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's a good point. And by the way, it's a recommendation for you guys. If you're in here and your upline tells you to do a certain way, doesn't your upline know more than you? Why would you even resist? Is your ego that big? Is your ego in the way of you making big money?
Not anymore.
Ask yourself that. Is it helpful? Does it help you? Does it help your team? Does it help the office environment that you are somehow so opinionated that your way of doing it somehow is the way you want to stick to it? Does it help you? So fall into alignment. At one point, my career took off, my business took off, my income took off when I, at one point, just came to terms with my unwillingness to do it that way. And I just recognized I was going to get more of the same, because it says more of the same equals more of the same. Is that true? So then at one point in my life, I just pulled out my letter and said, hey, I need to talk to you. He says, no, I don't, because we kind of would have some headbutting. He says, no, listen, I need to talk to you, for real. And I pulled him into an office and said, listen, from now on, I will be the most coachable guy you've ever recruited. Everything you ask me to do, I'm going to do. And I'm going to fall 100% in alignment with you in all aspects. You say it, I do it. Deal? And he's just like, where the hell you been at? When I showed up, here I am. And from that moment forward, his attitude about me changed, and then we just walked.
Very good.
It just took off.
Very good.
It's like a coach that has a really good player, but the player wants to do it his way. And you have a championship coach. Ed Milet was a championship coach, and Ham is a good player, but wasn't buying into his game plan. Doesn't work.
Mm-mm.
There's a reason you're a player and someone's a coach. They know more. JR knows more than most of you in this business. Matter of fact, all of you, because he's been here longer. He sees it bigger. He's been, all the crap you're going to go through, he's already been through it.
Yeah.
And he can show you how to avoid it. At least most of it. Some of it you need to taste just because it builds character. Not tasting crap, but, you know, we explain. You guys with me on that? Okay,
Yeah,
what
man.
else? Listen, I'm liking this whole thing. Let's go with a few more. Eric, what do you got? What'd you get?
David asked it all. I'm just kidding. I would say for, you know, because I have some people in here. When you feel like you've hit a wall, what's your, you know, what's the best way to get out of it? You know,
When you hit a wall?
to spark
So
that
like a
momentum.
slump?
Yeah, aside from, you know, going wide, what's some things maybe working on yourself, some things you do?
See, you said aside from? No, that's it.
Mm.
There's no aside from, that's it. When you hit a wall, that means you stop recruiting,
Wow.
right? Why'd you hit a wall? Because you stopped doing things you're supposed to. Remember, there is no slump, there is no wall, there's nothing to hold you back if you continue to do that. So you have a daily commitment that you go prospect and recruit every single day. You prospect and recruit. I am a headhunter for new talent in my business on a daily basis. Eric, you with me on that?
Yeah,
I'm a
man.
headhunter for new talent in my business on a daily basis. If today someone can be on my business, should I delay?
No.
No. And matter of fact, if you're thinking about moving forward, if you're thinking about the advancement of your business, then you're not thinking about processing the thoughts of your slump and hitting the wall and being negative and all of a sudden my numbers are down and that kind of stuff. So if you're busy, if you're constantly moving forward, you don't have time to be depressed, you don't have time to be down, you don't have time to process the inefficiencies you feel you have. Stay fired up all the time. Stay fired up all the time, aggressively attacking the very thing you need to get. What do you need to get? More directs.
Wow.
Get a direct, go 4 deep. Keep going what? Direct, 4 deep. Direct, 4 deep, direct, 4 deep. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. It's awesome. You'll never be back to this whole thought about, I'm a little depressed or things are down, I hit the wall, I'm in this slump.